and that's how I knew she was poison.
It's driving me out of my mind. Welcome everybody back.
Yeah, we're back. Never mind.
Yeah, we're back. We're back. And the allergy bugs have hit me. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Barry White will be joining you today on the podcast. That's right.
Get ready. See, the good thing is get that out now. Get that out now because we got a big week coming up.
Yeah.
So get that out now.
We do. That's a good teaser. We're gonna get into that week coming up. So folks, welcome back. This is the final episode of season 9, or so we think. Cliffhanger. Yeah, I always like to look back. This episode is just Adam and I, just kind of reflecting on the season that's been, where we're headed, and then we'll do a little preview of an event coming up that a lot of you, our listeners, may be going to as well. Adam, always happy that we're on, and it's 9 seasons is pretty fun. Let's make it 10. What do you say?
Yeah, let's go for 10.
Let's see. It sounds nice round number.
Yeah. I think we need like cake and candles. We start season 10.
Yeah. I'm gonna look it up quick. What's the gift you give each other? What's the 10? Like 25 is silver, 1 is like paper. Yeah, 10 is broccoli. Okay. Opening debate before we get too far down the road because it's already too late. It's Father's Day coming up. We're recording this 2 days before Father's Day. Adam, question for you. Who is the best TV show dad out there? And I'm going to go ahead and say it. We probably have to eliminate one that comes to many of our listeners' minds for nefarious reasons, but we'll get into that.
No. Yeah, there's actually a couple, but you know what?
I know.
We'll let people kind of Google and figure out which ones that are out there.
Separate the art from the artist, but sometimes you can't when the artist is not is not good. So who you got? Who's your best TV dad?
The one that I'm going to pick is actually one people don't call him dad on the show actually, but it's Uncle Phil. Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I just love the way they wrote that character. He had his own kids, but then he brought Will in. And there were so many episodes where you had that moment where Will needed that father figure and he stood up. I mean, I remember the episode where Will's dad left him and, Will had that, why don't you want me no more? And then, he's like, come here. And he gave me that hug and brought him in. I'm like, oh man, it got me all in the feels. I had eye sweat coming out, when I saw that scene,
Making my eyes rain. Yes. Phil, I leave it to Adam to break the rules already. He's picking an uncle, but he was very much the father figure of that show. I agree with that, and very stable to deal with that kid from Philly. Mine would be, my dad, I'll say that I'm thinking of, he dealt with multiple generations. So he had multiple generations living in his house. He had parents, he had kids, he had a wife that was, interesting too. His kids were just kind of a little bit wild. One of them, the boy is really wild. The girl was kind of normal. The dad was Dracula, because I'm talking about Herman Munster, great TV dad, father. He held it all together. He had that kid as a wolf boy. His dad's Dracula and kind of getting into some stuff, always experimenting on weird stuff. And then like his wife, I think was a witch. I can't really remember. I just remember the theme song. So, to me, that dude was cool. He creepy looking. Don't get me wrong. He looked. Yeah. They didn't do much makeup on him either. The actor looked like Frankenstein, but just a cool TV dad. Watch that stuff on reruns these days, kids. If you don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Did not see that one coming whatsoever.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I thought you were going in a different direction. I'm thinking, maybe like Ray or something. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know where you were going with that one, but yeah, that's a good one. I remember watching that. Like it was like that block you had. The Munsters and Addams Family.
Yeah.
Bring back the nostalgia. Bring back the nostalgia there.
That was that time in our nation's history where we really, honed in around people that were, basically scary characters, and we made them into funny, laughable black and white shows. But yeah, anyway, I digress.
Yeah, and you can tell the way this episode's going just by the opening debate. So if you're wondering, this is where we're going today, because we want to give you something to listen to as you start packing your bags for your summer trips and all that stuff. Because a lot of us are going to be packing our bags for a big conference coming up.
Yeah, I was about to say ISTE, but it's not, right? It's now.
No, it's ASCD, ISTE plus ASCD live. So you got to put it all together. It's like an equation that you have to solve. It's ISTE plus ASCD live Exclamation mark. Yeah,
Exclamation mark
all
point.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. In San Antonio. So just like 70 minutes down the road for me. I'm excited that it's close by. I'm not excited that it's late June in San Antonio, Texas, because that's always a scorcher. So I got to make sure I have air conditioning inside the jackets. But yeah,
You
what
know
you
what
what
though,
you
and with that though, since it's going to be so hot, for at Future Ready, we're going to have some giveaways, some fans, because we want to make sure that you can stay cool. So see us and we have fans. We want you to stay cool.
right.
While you're there, get your boots on the ground, get your fans on. Yeah, we got you.
Boots on the ground. And we have a lot of fans of the show, but we're talking different fans, right? We're
Yeah,
gonna give,
yeah.
yeah, we're fans for our fans. So if you see us wandering about, you may, oh, we have to pack our jerseys too. I just remembered that. So look for Adam and Carl in the jerseys. Probably on Tuesday we'll wear that. Those of
Yeah.
you that are there. What are you packing? What's some things you got to pack? I know you're gonna take a couple pair of shoes.
Yeah, well, you got to be careful when you say packing in Texas because,
Oh yeah, no, you
yeah,
don't. You can pack if you want. Come on, it's Texas.
yeah,
Bring
just
it.
not on the airplane, just not on the
No,
airplane.
not on the airplane or by schools. In theory.
But you know what? For me, one thing that I recently had to reorder and get a new one, my portable power bank, and I made sure that it was airline safe and friendly. This is a new Anchor power bank, and it's amazing. I can do like laptop, my phone. I think I can recharge myself on this thing. I don't know. It does a lot of stuff, but it's got a little heft to it. So if I ever get in a situation where I got to defend myself, I can use it. But
Or you can lift
eh,
weights, you can work
yeah,
out with
lift
that
weights
thing.
with it, get a little workout, but portable power, because we know as conferences that you start early and you end early. When I say ending early, I'm talking about in the AM early.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, yeah.
yeah. So your day starts in the AM and your day ends in the AM. So you want to make sure you have power throughout the day. So for me, I'm making sure I'm packing my extra power. What about you?
You got to start out drinking your juice and you got to make sure you have some juice at the end. That's true. By the way, the affiliate link for that isn't, no, I'm just joking. We don't have an affiliate link for Anchor, but not a sponsor of the show, folks. We don't have that kind of stuff. But yeah, for me, I'm taking a couple suitcases, one's just clothes and stuff and a couple pair of shoes, not like you. I'm sure you're bringing a couple, more than a couple pair.
More than a
But
couple? How
and then the
about
other
how about
suitcase,
six?
yeah,
Six.
six.
Six pair, at least six. At least six.
For 4 days, folks. Just let that soak in for a minute. And then I'll have another suitcase that's just podcast equipment, and I'll be doing some podcasting on my other podcast. I don't want you to get jealous, but I'll have a couple of those going off on Tuesday,
How
and then
dare you?
hopefully, like again, maybe just maybe if the stars align, you and I can do a ISTE kind of review as
Mm.
well as a bonus episode. So hopefully you guys will hear that as well. What are some? How many? How many ISTEs have you got? Or I guess how many ISTE plus ASCD live exclamation marks have you been to? Well, this is the first one, I guess
Yeah, this first
technically.
one. SD Lives,
But this
gosh.
this event in its iterations, because it was also NECC for those of our older listeners out there. I shouldn't say older listeners. I'll say those that you were teaching in the 1900s. You remember that it was called the NECC. How many is this for you?
I think I'm finally hitting double digits. I maybe in that next round number of 10, 11. I don't know. I got to sit back and I do the math, see if my math is mathing right. Because there are a couple years where I missed one or two because of family engagements or whatever. But I want to say I'm probably about at 10 or 11. What about you?
Yeah, I was just thinking I could go on to Twitter and look up the issue hashtag in my name, but I don't, since I'm not, rest in peace, Twitter X. I don't know that I could track it. I want to say I'm around the same. I'm probably around 11 or 12. I used to skip. I made it a point of skipping every other year because we were taking family road trips. So I would always the odd years we would take a family road trip, and the even years I would go to ISTE. So probably same 10 or 11. I've gone to the last like I think since Philly since COVID was in New Orleans and Philly and then Denver last year. I've gone to the last three, and this so four in a row is a lot. I might take next year off in Orlando, but uh, yeah, all fun. And they're always at different cities. Is there one that's like, I mean, they're kind of the same. I guess they only have the same rotations. We talked or interviewed, I think, somebody from
Yeah.
ISTE way back when, and she told us they could only do it in like 10 different cities. What's your favorite
Yeah.
ISTE city?
Like for
ISTE plus
me,
ASCD exclamation point live. Or wait, I
yeah,
did that wrong. Sorry.
because my wife may listen to this. No, no, but
Yeah. Yeah.
for me personally, it would have to be Philly. One year, it may have been 2015. That was the first conference I was actually able to attend with my wife. She's also an educator as well, and that was like one of our
Yep.
first trips that we were able to like go post kids and actually like hang out together and do stuff. So it was a really cool trip. Attended sessions with her, got a chance to do a lot of cool things. So I like the city of Philly. I know you're a Eagles fan,
Go
but
Birds.
yeah, but the city of Philadelphia, hey, it owes me nothing. I definitely enjoyed my time there. Now you can't pick Philly, but what was your city?
Well, it's funny because I was actually thinking Philly 2015 was the first time my wife went with me to an ISTE conference, so we have similarities there.
Ah,
Um, I'm trying to think. There's San Diego is so gorgeous, and it's just right there by the gas lamp district. It's not super easy, if I remember correctly, like getting, like in my mind, like I have a range of things that have to check boxes. Like, is the weather good? Is it fairly cheap and close to the hotel? Like Chicago, remember that one? It was like you had to drive. It was like a Uber drive each way. So I wouldn't put Chicago in there, but the weather was nice and it wasn't cheap. So for me, I think it's Denver, which kind of checks all the boxes right now because it's you get you're oh everything's right there. The convention center's right in the middle of everything. They've really built that city out well. They built that city. Wait, that's a different city. And so to me, it'll be interesting to see. And Austin actually just imploded its convention center this week. So in 5 years, it'll have a brand new shining. I don't know, maybe ISTE in Austin. That would be pretty interesting. Although I don't really like things right in my backyard because I have life stuff. It's good to get away
yeah.
sometimes.
And everybody
Uh,
expects you to be there and do all the things, but then you also have to be dad as well and
yep.
go home and all that stuff. So it's always good when you can kind of get away from your home base of operations for the conference.
Yeah,
And
because they
yeah,
had one in Atlanta, right? Wasn't
yeah,
there one?
yeah. But I wasn't able to attend that one. That was like the crazy thing about the year that it was in Atlanta. I had moved to Kansas City and I was in Kansas City at that time. And so I wasn't able to make the trip back to do it that year. But you brought up Philly, and I remember Philly in 2015 because you did the zombie thing. And Christina,
Yeah,
always, my wife, always remembers. She was like, "Oh, yeah, because Carl had the zombie makeup walking around and all that stuff." So yeah, I think that was her
yeah.
first time like seeing you like getting the full hooker experience.
Good first, yeah, good first impression. Real quick story on that. So we had hired an artist. I was doing this talk called "Surviving the Digital Zombie Apocalypse," which I used to do a lot way back then. And we had hired a facial artist person, makeup artist, to come. And she was driving in from Jersey, and she got in a really bad car accident. She survived. She's okay, but she texted us about an hour out. She's like, "I'm not going to make it." I was like, "My session's in 2 hours. I'm in trouble." So my wife goes, "Let's go over there's Macy's right across the street from our hotel." I'm like, "Macy's?" She's like, "They have a makeup counter." I was like, "Yeah, come on. I mean, I'll go get my lashes done or something." She's like, "No." And so we go there and there's this girl named Julia. I still remember. And they're like, we go and we ask the lady at the front desk. She's like, "No, but there's someone here who could help you." And they call it Julia. And Julia comes around the corner and she's got kind of the goth makeup on, kind of serious. And she lights up she's like, "Oh my gosh, this is great. I love doing." She apparently on the side did like all sorts of make monster makeup stuff, right around Halloween.
Wow.
So this is a chance. She had everything, the whole kit, did me up. People were standing in the window watching. It was pretty hilarious. And then I stumbled to that conference. I actually did try to do a zombie walk with my
Yeah.
torn up suit and stuff, and scared some kids from the international school in Mexico, I think. They're like, "Adios mio." They were like running. I was
And
like, "No, I'm
American
not
Mexican
real."
relations have never recovered from that. So thank you, Carl,
I
for
know.
doing.
Well, I'm wearing my Gulf of Mexico shirt right now, established in 1555, for those of you that don't know.
All
So
right.
what other tips? What are some other tips? Like when you go, like what are some things because I always hear this. I just talked to actually a neighbor of mine who's going for the first time, and he was asking me, he's like, "Man, I just looked at everything and it's so overwhelming." Like that seems to be the word that comes up over and over again. So how do you keep your ISTE undisrupted?
Yeah, good. Well, you know what? One thing I'd say, I stay well hydrated. Get some high
Yeah.
quality H2O because you got to all the walking, all the places you're going to be. You got to stay hydrated while you're there. But for me, it's having a plan. And I mean, some people will get the app and check off like every session, hour by hour, block by block, here, which is great. But my thing is going to the conference with a purpose. Hey, I'm here to learn more about XYZ, whatever that is. Generative AI, I'm here to learn more about ethical use of this technology. I'm here to learn about more engagement strategies for students in math, whatever that is. Have that target, have that focus if you're looking for how to use Google Classroom more effectively, whatever that is. Have that focus, but then look for those sessions around that. But then also going into the vendor hall and talking to the folks in there, because one thing I love about this conference is not just the sales folks at the vendor booth. You have actually educators that are at the booth, and you could actually bounce ideas off of them and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, or this is a problem that I'm having, and they can actually help you work through some of your problems. I mean, I remember back in the day when I went to the instructor booth one time, and I was actually able to pull up my instance and talk through something that I was trying to do and get that
Nice.
problem resolved at the conference on the vendor hall floor. So definitely have that plan, but be targeted in where you're going, because it's so much you'll be overwhelmed.
I love that. Yeah, I think a couple things stand out. One is I'll be working a couple booths this year, Adam. Actually, I'm working for a couple different companies that are bringing me in, Pocket Talk and Brisk Teaching. Speaking of AI,
Yeah,
because of course there'll be a lot of AI companies there.
you
For
don't
me,
say.
my two big tips. I know when you were talking about sessions to go see AI, and I'm like, you just hit period there. That's probably no. There's lots of other sessions, of course, but the my two tips. The one thing I always try to do, and the people that follow me on social know I do this a lot, is like I always try to find the free coffee. I mean, it's a silly thing, but for me in the morning, it's like I gotta find some free coffee. I'm not gonna go stand in the line to get my $17 cup of coffee at the the Starbucks in the convention center. So I'm like, I will walk around, and a lot of the vendors have gotten wise to this because what they do is in the exhibit hall. Oh, there we go. For those of you watching the video feed, you see that Adam's got his cup up. Um, they'll put like little espresso machines. They've started doing this more and more. I've noticed like. So it's a good way to get you in there, get you talking to them. I love that idea. So you can find them there. And then my other tip is one I steal from Dan Ryder, who I don't know if I mentioned this on the show before, but he told me this years ago when we were at a South by Southwest conference here in Austin, and he said, "There's lots of sessions, like Adam was just saying. There's tons of sessions to go to." He goes, and if you have a bunch of stuff on your list, that's great. He goes, but if you're ever in a really good conversation with somebody, either the vendor hall or in the hallway or just somewhere, or someone wants to go grab a bite to eat real quick for lunch, and you're having a good conversation, he goes, don't cut it off just to go to the session on 50 AI tools to change your life.
Hmm.
Instead, continue that conversation, make those connections. I think that's always, I always hear the best part of the conferences are usually the things that happen in between
Yep.
sessions. There's some great sessions too, though. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's some celebrity rock stars out there presenting. I was looking at a list yesterday that I think you and I both got sent a list of stuff.
Yep.
And you and I are in a session this year. We sometimes get a session together.
Yeah.
Thanks to our friend Steve Dembo, who's been on the show. We're doing the whose line is it anyway? Ed Tech
Yeah.
version, which is
Yeah, that's
going to
going to be
be
fun. That's going to be
hoping
fun.
not to get canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's one of those where whatever you think it's going to be, it's not.
right. Like we've been practicing a little bit, but also it's like improv. So it's like,
Yeah.
wait, who knows what's going to happen the day of? It's Hall Davidson, Adam Bellows, and of course Andy Wallace, whose voice is always this low when you hear Andy speak.
But you know
But
what?
yeah, yeah,
You said something about conversations that I want to point out to folks that are listening. And this may come, hopefully, this didn't come off kind of weird or this, but make sure if you see somebody who you think is a quote unquote edgy celebrity, edgy rock star, whatever, talk to them. I mean, all these people are people. And they enjoy conversations. I remember like the first time I walked up to somebody who I thought was just like great big celebrity in the space and wanted to learn from them and find out, oh, you're just a regular person. We can just chat and got their information and going back and forth about things. So if you see somebody you've been following on social media or you've seen their podcast or their whatever, Carl or myself, whoever, just come up and talk. Like, talk to people. I was like, hey, I really love when you do this, or what's your idea about this? Or I want to, how do I do this? Or whatever. Go to those people. This is a perfect time to do that. That's one thing I love about our community and education. Everybody is still an educator and they want to have those relationships and conversations. So definitely if you see somebody that you've been following, that's your time. Walk up to them, talk to them, because they're just excited to meet you as you are to meet them. That's something and my bonus tip that I'll throw out there to you if you're listening. You
I
see
love
somebody
that.
that you want to communicate or have a conversation with, go ahead, do it. Nothing's stopping you.
Yeah, you can if you bring your baby, we'll autograph it. Yeah, yes, ma'am, I'll sign your baby. Yeah, no. Uh, yeah, I think that's true. I think when I was thinking back to my first few that I went to, going back to the zombie days, even before that, I was captivated. I would follow like Dean Shareski around and David Jakes and Dembo actually was another one who
Hmm.
like I had read and seen a lot of what they've been posting online. Shannon Miller, who of course we
Yep.
work with now pretty closely already, and just like Leslie Fisher, who we
Hmm.
know really well. And so I would just go and just kind of hover, but I would never, later on I got more confident. I would go like, oh, say something like, hey, I just want to enjoy. I say I enjoy this part of it and question about this. So yeah, I'm 1,000% on board with that. I do think it's kind of like a gym culture. I call it like when you're at the gym with other people, like we're all here for the same thing. We're all trying to work out our brains, right?
Yeah, right.
So let's support each other. Let's be supportive. And so I think, and try to uplift each other because yeah, let's be honest. And we've had some kind of dark episodes this season, I would say, about lots of things happening federally. So I mean, we need to support each other, especially at an event like this.
Mm. So speaking of supporting, I know we talked about the things that happen while the lights are on. So during the AM hours, but during the PM, there's also some really amazing things that are happening. Meetups, happy hours, all those things. So what's your advice? What are some things that you have on your radar that you want to point out to folks? 'Cause I know we're doing something.
We are, and I really now that you say this, like, and I know this is, we're recording this, so we didn't talk about it, but I would love to do an undisrupted after dark. Like,
Hmm.
I know that might be dangerous too, but yeah, that would be. By the way, folks, we would never get to episode season 10 if we didn't have after dark on the street. No, yeah, I'm doing a couple things this year. I try to work with companies on this too because I think, part of what they get there and they get their big booth space and that's great. And you have traffic and we talked about the vendor hall, but yeah, a lot of the conference is kind of split in two. It's the day, what you're doing throughout the day. And then the after hours, it's like you have to make a choice.
Yeah.
You can pop into 2 or 3 events, but like I'm partnering with Matt Joseph, who we've had on the show, and we're doing a pickleball event with Magic School, Adobe, and Clever on Sunday. And that's not just pickleball. They have giant Jenga. There'll be live music. They have like back bocce ball. Something like it's a fun space. It's called Chicken and Pickle in San Antonio. I don't know why that made me laugh like that. And then Monday night, Adam and I are co-hosting. I think this is the sixth ever EdTech Poetry Slam. Now brought to you by Brisk. Since they picked up the sponsorship for us, so it's great. They were able to bring it back for us. So yeah, you and I will be kicking it like we did a few years back where we were kind of running the whole show. So it's just you and I running it. And we've got, I think, 8 poets lined up and maybe a couple from the audience we may pull up too. So
That'd be cool. That'd
yeah,
be
be sure
cool.
to check that out on Monday night at the Paramore.
Yeah,
What about you? Anything you're excited about after hour stuff? I know that ISTE, obviously us doing the Poetry Slam will be fun again.
yeah. But for me, there's so many things on the list. I think I saw a Excel document or Google Doc going around. It was like 50 something events
50
that are on
things.
there. Although that are going on there. So my thing is, I do want to be selective because I don't. One thing for me, I don't want to be shouting over people all night at some of these after hour things. So I definitely want to. My advice to people is you go to these things, use them as a great avenue to connect with folks and have those sidebar conversations. And nobody wants to talk shop all day, but if you made that connection during the day, find out where those folks are going to be hanging out, and you make lifelong friends at these conferences. That's one thing I also love about it is
Yeah.
I look forward to going to these events, to seeing my friends that I've met at these events. It's almost like a family reunion where you're getting back with these folks that you've met over the years. We talked about the number of conferences that we've gone to, the ISTEs that we've gone to in the past. This is a chance to
Yep.
reconnect with those folks, hang out, and have that family piece that we're all about. One thing that we've talked about in this season and some of last season, my battle that I had last year with cancer, and now that I'm back to 100%, I really enjoy just hanging out with those folks because I don't want to take it for granted. Not to go down and get too mushy with everybody, but yeah, I look forward to hanging out with those folks because I don't want to take those things for granted and have those that time to hang out with each other. So that's for me. That's the extra piece that I have there.
Yeah, I just thought about that last year. You were back in Denver and you think just finished your treatments like 6 weeks prior. So you were still kind of trying to pace yourself a little bit. This will
Hmm.
be you full Adam. We'll have
Yeah.
100% Adam for this one.
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
have my chaperone. I think Christina had to come to chaperone me to make sure that I didn't do too much.
yeah, I saw her pull the hook on you a couple times where I was like, hey, we're going to go here next. She's like, no, Adam's going to bed. Uh,
Yes.
But we love our wives. We love our wives.
Yes, yes.
Um, yeah, I think that's a big part. I think the family thing, it's funny. I try to explain this to some neighbors who were just asking me about it in general. And they're like, "Oh, so you know all these people?" And I was like, "Well, it's like we're all kind of in the same spaces. We always follow each other's work online, and and there's some folks that I've never met in person, but I get a chance to meet them in person, and it's just exciting. So I look forward to it, and I will say, as much as I make fun of the heat in San Antonio, they do a good. That convention center is massive, so. I don't know. I mean, I've heard rumors that they're going to split it into like ASCDs on one side and ISTEs on the other. I hope it's, that part's going to be interesting. I don't, and you're board members, so I don't know how much
Yep.
you can share, but uh, I'll be curious to see like, is there really a significant amount? I guess I'll know when I walk in, and if I see a lot of jean jackets and jean, clip and little dangly earrings, then I know it's more of a teacher conference. If I see a lot of suits, then I know it's more of an administrative conference or business suits or dress suits. So it'll be interesting to see like how the
Mm.
mix happens with ASCD. But
Yeah, my thing is that if you're wearing a whole lot of suits in San Antonio, you are dedicated to the profession.
yeah,
I may break out one of my linen suits or whatever, but I'm not trying to be suited up too much. It's gonna be like you said before. It's gonna be hot, so I'm trying to manage my internal heat
there
as
you go.
well. Now,
Uh,
now we talked a little bit about the conference, and I know we flirted around AI, but you and I are doing something with Future Ready that's really
yeah,
really big around AI. You want to tease that out because folks are interested in taking part of this.
yeah. I know that it's been the butt of our jokes for the last couple of seasons because we always mention it when we say AI. We know it's that part of the episode. But one thing that you and I have gleaned over the last, especially the last 2 or 3 years, working with educators kind of from all over the country, is there's a lot of things flying at them, and Adam flying at them or flying at them, and they when it comes to AI. So it's like, do I create a policy, or how do I do this, or what about cheating, and what about this, and what's the right balance? And so one thing that Future Ready has done is they've said we need to put a leadership boot camp together. And so you and I have been working behind the scenes for a long time on this boot camp that's going to be launching in late July, mid to late July, and it's a 6 week boot camp. There'll be some synchronous components of it where you and I are working together with the folks in the boot camp, and I think there's more and more of these coming out now. And I know that you could probably, if you want to try to piecemeal it together yourself, you can. But we've done a lot of work on getting you set up and prepping you and your team. It's really meant to be done as a team. Plus, you get the flavor of me and Adam, which we keep it light, but we also know that it's serious work too. So we try to mix that up. So I'm excited about it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just really excited to have folks work together and come together and develop a plan that's not a static plan. Because a lot of times you have these things and can go with a plan, and it becomes this thing in a binder that sits on the shelf. And that's not what this is about. It's having all the right people in the room, figuring out which people you need to have in the room as you are making these policies or these decisions about how AI is going to be implemented in your district, not just today but tomorrow, because it's changing. We know AI, generative AI, is something that is really changed the landscape of the classroom structure, what it looks like. It's been able to uplift some folks, and there are some ethical concerns that we need to also keep in mind and not just be all like, oh my God, this is so amazing. This is wonderful. And the one thing about this boot camp, we're going to talk about those things about how we can look at AI, not just today, but tomorrow, and ensuring that we have equitable use and implementation of AI for all of our stakeholders in our districts. So really excited about it.
Yeah,
We're going to have the link in the details below. So if you're interested, check out that link. We'd love to have you as part of our boot camp.
we're
And
keeping it pretty small. I
no
think it's like,
corny boot camp about boots are made for walking jokes. We're not going to do that. I promise you. None. Maybe one or two.
maybe AI will. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're keeping it to like 10 districts or so. I think this first
Yeah.
go around too. So we're keeping it pretty light. We want to make sure it's meaningful work, not just I'm going to check in and kind of let the guys talk on the camera for 2 hours while we do something else. This is going to be action packed. So yeah, I'm excited about it. So yeah, check out the link here in the show notes. A couple other updates before we roll out. Adam, I know you are working on a book.
Yes.
You've been
Yes.
working on a book for a little while. Any care to give our listeners an update on your book?
Oh, we are well on the way. I want to say 8 of the 11 chapters are pretty much done. So my goal is to have that knocked out. Actually, by the end of this month, I want to knock out these last few chapters and I'll get ready for to get it edited. I'm really excited about the way I started writing this book and the journey that happened with me last year. Made me go back and really change the direction of the book. So it's been a passion project of mine. And I really hope, I'm really happy to get it in the hands of individuals and be able to check that out. I already have some pre-sales of the book, so really excited about that. I'm like, Mama, I made it. People want to hear what I got to say. So,
My
you
mom
know,
always is the first one to
yes,
buy my book because I'm like,
yeah,
yeah,
so
uh,
really trying to get like you because I know like you're the book expert. So I've been able to like lean on you and ask some advice on things about the book. So I want to thank you publicly for giving me pushing me along and help me get to the finish line with this project. So I want to thank you for that, and also friend of the show Matt Joseph
yep,
for believing in me and saying, hey, this is something that you need to do. You got a voice. So, big shout out to Matt and all the work that he does to try to make educators have a voice in this space because there's a lot of folks and we have a voice. We want people to hear your voice, whether it's actually hearing the voice or reading your voice. We want
yeah.
folks to do that. So, I know you got a project you're working on too.
Yeah, yeah. So in between us boot camping, we are, if that's a verb, I don't know if that is, but
If it
I've been
isn't,
working
we're gonna
on,
make it one.
we're making one, yeah. I've been working on since pretty much October. I've been working on a book. So now this is June, so I don't know how to remember. It's 8 or 9 months. The book called Zengaged, which is a book that I've had percolating for years, but it's really about the intersection of engagement online with devices and kind of keeping yourself balanced. So I know there's a lot of statewide cell phone bans going on. This book is not about banning technology. It's about teaching kids how to use it properly, how to adjust their own lives. And I have a lot of little activities. I have interviews in it, ways of which to do this in a classroom setting. So
Hmm.
this book, I'm doing two of them. This first book is an educator's guide to teaching the anxious generation because it's kind of a response to that book, which I know got a lot of publicity when Oprah kind of gave it a shout out. It's more of a response to that, like actual practical things that we can do in schools. And then I'm writing a parent version that'll come out hopefully later in the fall. So yeah, it's and I'm living it. You're living it too. I mean, we have teenagers now,
Yep.
and it's just seeing the good, the bad, just having the conversation is so important. We do it every week. We talk about our screen time. We talk about our pickups, and so a lot of that is in the book. And so just like you, it's like you got to make sure you put your own voice in there, so you'll hear a lot of kind of funny stories of mess ups that I've made or we've made as parents about technology because it ain't all been roses. But
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited for this to come out.
It's so good that you're putting that together. When you were talking about that, I was just thinking about Ancient Generation in your book as this Kendrick Lamar Drake beef. So this is like the Kendrick Lamar response to the Drake. I need a
Yeah,
rap. I need a rap to go along with that too.
baby girl.
Mustard.
Oh wait, see, you went Kendrick and I went Drake. That was bad. I was like, put me in the Kendrick camp. Drake is okay. Uh, and then lastly, we can't really, I don't know, we can't really tell them this, I guess, Adam, but we'll say that there's something else in the works
Yeah, we
for our
got something
listeners out
cooking.
there. We got something cooking. It's gonna be a little, it's gonna be a little like this, but a little bit different.
Yeah.
We'll just say that, and we're excited to. We're working on something kind of behind the scenes too. So yeah, keep it busy, but also keep cranking out the content and bringing stuff to our friends and listeners out there. And we thank you guys all out there for listening too. So we look forward to ISTE, man. So any last minute thoughts as we get ready to walk off into season 10, hopefully.
Yeah. So you know what? I'm gonna call it. You know what? We're gonna do season 10. We're gonna have a season 10. And you know what? I'm gonna tell folks, I think we're gonna do a special ISTE episode. I think we should. I think we should record a live episode and do something there. I'm gonna
All
make it
right,
happen. I know. I'm putting in some phone calls and we're gonna make it happen. So this is the
put your
last episode of this season, but I think we should do a special episode. A very special
okay.
episode.
Yes. Yeah. Bring your jersey. So pack your jersey, put that in your
Yes.
suitcase. We both have the Carl and Adam Undisrupted jerseys that Adam got us, which are awesome. I'm excited to wear that. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do the
Uh,
special live. We'll we'll see how we're feeling. It'll be near the end of ISTE, so it'll be a great kind of like mirror to this episode too. I would love to get a recap and maybe pull some people in that are walking around and do that as well. But all right, my friend, he's Adam. You know how this goes. You can follow him at AskAdam3, which is where we'll be posting lots of other things that may be coming up later down the road. You never know.
Yep. And he's Carl, and you can follow him at Hooker Tech. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, we are better together.
And we are better
UnDisrupted.